Hello! So today we are talking about SJWs. Wait, no, stay with me. I promise that this is going to be a positive video in some sort of fashion. Now, SJW is a term that is used a lot on the internet and has a pretty rich history in terms of internet memes, Gamergate, its full history. It's a term that I personally find annoying. I don't think it's the right term to use for people that you disagree with, and I don't necessarily think it's used correctly or really should be used at all, and I want to go into why. I have seen it used in several comments. I have seen other YouTubers use it to describe other people. I've even seen furry YouTubers use it, and I would like to tell you why I personally think it should be completely retired and no longer used. Now let's get into that.
So I know I'm sourcing Wikipedia here, but essentially SJW means Social Justice Warrior. It initially started as a positive term and became a bit of a negative term around the time of the Gamergate controversy. While it was initially described to pretty much talk about anyone who was pushing socially progressive views such as feminism, civil rights, and multiculturalism, it slowly became a term that was used for people who had different opinions or were viewed as cringy, typically associated with the Tumblr crowd, and largely became a very negative term used by progressively more conservative people to essentially negatively categorize anyone with a more liberal opinion who had left a comment on a video, post, or otherwise, and has dominated YouTube and other platforms as something of a negative word to describe someone who essentially doesn't ascribe to a more conservative viewpoint, has differing views, or really just to bash anyone that is deemed too liberal. This, of course, has opened the door for even more discussion. SJWs, or social justice warriors, essentially have been labeled as almost the stain of the internet community, causing a lot of issues and pushing their agenda on others. At least that's how they're seen to people who don't necessarily always agree with their opinions. Now I'm not saying that SJWs are without fault. There have been instances of essentially people put with this label being very, very adamant, not necessarily listening to criticism, and otherwise fighting back pretty strongly against views that they don't agree with or that directly contradict their own. I'm not saying that we're perfect. However, the most insanely bad instances of this have prompted memes, cartoons, such as Trigglypuff, who is shown here, who showed up at a Milo Yiannopoulos event, basically further almost proving or giving a positive stint to the concept of SJWs being easily triggered, and all of this isn't doing us any favors, which, you know, doesn't really help in the scheme of things with people trying to make valid and strong points in favor of feminism or other, social justice topics, which just really makes the word not very positive, not a great one to use on either side of the table, and just generally leads to a bad taste in everyone's mouth.
Alright, so now that we have some of the history of the word SJW, let's go into why we probably shouldn't be using it. Now, SJW is used as a very negative word. It's typically used by people who have either commenters or see videos of people openly disagreeing, and in some cases, yes, the people disagreeing are being quite ridiculous, are being very loud, are causing a lot of drama where they are protesting very loudly to things that they really don't agree with, or in cases where you feel that they are forcing their ideals or opinions on you. SJW is a very attractive word to use to you in that situation, but I'd like to appeal to you and ask that you stop using it. It is a negative word. It is dismissive. It gives very little validity to the person that you are disagreeing with. It essentially takes their opinion and delegitimizes it, or even just makes it invalid to others who are trying to hear it. In certain cases, yes, I will agree that SJWs in certain contexts are a bit ridiculous. They're a bit forceful with their views. Sometimes they can't take harsh criticism, and sometimes they're very forceful about their opinion and are unwilling to hear yours, but that does not mean you should stoop to the level of calling them an SJW and delegitimizing their opinions. We are all entitled to our own opinions, and it's okay if we disagree, but that does not make it okay to belittle or disenfranchise their views because you find it ridiculous. I personally find it ridiculous that there are people supportive of our current president. Does that make me an SJW? Nope, it just makes me someone with a different opinion than yours, and that's fine. Okay, so what word should we be using? You know what? Here's my thoughts on this. None. You shouldn't have to coin a new word because you disagree with someone or because their opinion is different than yours. You do not have to give them a negative connotative word. If you're disagreeing with someone, you're just disagreeing with someone. If someone is protesting in something they believe in, they're a protester. They're allowed to protest. We have that right in this country. Maybe not in yours, but at least here in the US we do. If you are having a very mild disagreement, understand that your opinion may not line up with other people's, and that's fine, but you do not have to belittle their opinion by giving them a stupid word. Now, some of you guys may know I'm friends with Al Capone. We obviously don't share the same views, and jokingly we have laughed a little bit about SJWs. I guess technically by those terms I would fall into the SJW camp. I am very vocal and very open about my opinions on feminism and otherwise. We disagree, but you should not be labeling people as SJWs or, you know, glorifying the Trigglypuffs of the world because you disagree. Now, what that particular person did was admittedly not constructive. Screaming and shouting and being disruptive at a talk is not really the most effective way to go about it. In my opinion, you may disagree. But what I'd like to say here is, what word should you be using instead of SJW? None. Agree to disagree and be responsible adults. That is the absolute best way to handle a difference in opinion, not a stupid word. Alright, well, that was my quick little recap on SJWs and why I think it should just stop being a thing on the internet, and it should stop being used as a word because it's stupid. We may disagree there, and that is okay. You're welcome to write your disagreements or your agreements in the comments, as always. And I will probably be taking a teensy-weensy hiatus from videos for a couple days as I prepare for EDC. I will see you guys when I am back from that event. If you guys have any questions, always leave them in the comments. Have a lovely, trigger-free day, and until the next video, see ya! Bye-bye!